Good morning. I'll call the Special Development and Property Committee meeting to order. Welcome to everyone. Thank you so much for being here this morning, 9 o'clock. This is a special DMP meeting to deal with a couple of issues ahead of County Council. With that, roll call has been taken, I believe. Where is Evelyn?
Yes, and we have quorum.
We have, thank you. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Any member wish to disclose any pecuniary interest in any of the matters before us this morning? Seeing none, no delegations. The property report, I'll call on Craig, please, the director.
Thank you, Chair, and through you to committee. So again, thank you for allowing this meeting to happen ahead of County Council tomorrow. A lot of things have been learned since we met with the DMP committee earlier this month. And most importantly was the COVID-19 Resilience Infrastructure Stream, the ICIP program that was just announced prior to DMP. And at that time, we did not have the parameters for how to apply or the deadlines or any other details of that nature. So since that time, we did learn some things. And part of that, sorry, I'm just going to back up, Chair. I'm going to give a lot of the background, and it gives a background to the recommendation moving forward. If it's a bit of a different approach, but I think it's important to realize this. So what we did learn at that time, or what we have learned since that time on the infrastructure stream, was the timelines that the funds would be distributed and how they would be distributed. So like other ICIP projects, this stream requires the municipality to nominate the program to the province or apply to the province for this money. So you will recall that we had $255,000 and change that we were allocated. We would have to apply for those funds to the province. The province would then have to nominate that to the federal resilience stream. We may be allocated those $255 that we've been $255,000 applications, the knowing of. Okay, can you hear me a little bit better? Sorry, you would think the building would have better
Craig,
internet.
can you go back up a bit? Craig,
Okay.
Can you back up a bit, because we lost a lot of what you were saying?
Sorry, it's hard for me to know what signal I can hear. So in short, we've learned the deadlines, we've learned the timelines. So we have to send our project to the province as an application. The province in turn has to nominate that project to the federal level. Did I lose you?
My screen is freezing.
It's almost frozen.
Yeah, the
Yes,
screen
it
is-
is.
Okay, sorry, I'm back. Sorry, I'm back now. I guess it's this. The building has all new wiring, so I'm a little shocked. I'm surprised at this. So, am I okay now? I can be point form then, if you can hear me.
Yeah, you're good.
Thumbs up.
Good now.
Okay. County applies, province nominates to the feds let us know. That won't be until late spring 2021, which would mean we can't start any changes in the council chambers until late spring 2021, should we be accepted into the project. That puts us way behind bringing county council or committee meetings back into this building. So what the recommendation that I'm putting forward is that the development property amend the resolution you previously have imposed on this week's county council meeting, that the County of Renfrew apply to the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program COVID Resilience Infrastructure Stream for the council chambers for required physical and technical infrastructure to ensure compliance with COVID-19 health advice that would allow county council to continue to operate in council chambers. That was a previous resolution. To have the application redirected to the Algonquin Trail as it has previously been deemed an appropriate project for nomination towards such a program. There is mention in here, and I've just now received confirmation. There was a question about long-term homes and where their application could be made to, because Ms. Sheedy does have pressures in the long-term care homes for renovations. We've just received word that the long-term care home stream, the projects in municipal projects, if a municipally owned home is eligible to apply to that new stream that has just been launched. I don't have that cap, and maybe Paul does. I don't know what the cap for that amount is, but I'd have to review that, not knowing. I don't have that letter. Either Mr. Foss or Ms. Sheedy may have that letter from the ADM. So with that, that is the recommendation and some background. I'm sorry for the technology that's existing here behind screen, but that is it. Thank you.
Okay, Craig, thank you. I know the timelines are very, very tight in terms of projects. You have to get them in ahead of time. I see the warden, in terms of process, the way we're doing this, we don't have to rescind the original motion that we put forward. This it captures this as far as process is concerned. If we move this forward.
As chair, through you, I understand with conversations with Paul and Rose that this amendment prior to county council, because it's not an adopted resolution of county council.
Not council, yeah.
Amendment
Understood.
of committee to county council.
Okay, fair enough. Warden,
Yeah.
I saw your hand up.
Yes, I just I want to let committee know that there was a request made that I contact Minister Yakubuski to ask him to intercede in our behalf to make sure that we could get this funding, the turnaround quickly. I spoke with him yesterday morning. He has spoken to Minister Scott, who indicated that if we put in the application for the council chambers, the province would approve it and would make recommendation to the federal government. However, they really don't know how quickly that can happen. So that's the reason that I certainly support the change to the trails application. But I just wanted committee to know that Minister Yakubuski did in fact intercede on our behalf. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And that's important to realize that there's stiff timelines involved in this whole process that we're going through. Craig?
And because of technology throwing me out a little bit, I think it's also important to note that because of the timelines and how the wording exists, and this came up in the DP meeting earlier in the month, even by virtue of number 2 in the agenda and some of the work that we've been contemplating, that could be considered as starting the project, quote unquote, and may make it ineligible. So there is concern that we wouldn't even be able to start designing what we need to do until we get approval of this late, could be some point in the spring, which would either mean March or June, and that would put us into the summer or fall next year to get the county council even started or completed. So those are some concerns from the staff point of view, and not being able to take advantage of some of the efficiencies we could have with the current contractor on site and some of the other subcontractors that we have currently working in this building. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Craig. I think we'll deal with this because this is important right now before we go into the rest of your report. I'll open it up for questions or comments with regards to this before I ask for a motion to accept the resolution. Seeing none? Is there someone who wishes to adopt that resolution that we've got, to amend it? Dan, Peter? Any discussion? Call for the vote then. It's all in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Thank you. Okay, Craig, go on to your item number 2.
Thank you, Chair. So now with that dealt with, number 2, and if you have your agendas handy, I'm just worried about sharing the screen. We've gone through, I can try. Well, just, you know what, we're having technical issues. So in your agenda, as the appendix would show, is a redesign of the council chambers. So we have, again, contemplated with our architects of what the best use of that room and the current furniture is. And we have established that keeping the horseshoe can work. There is enough seating as allocated in there for 17 individual seating arrangements in there that could work to accommodate all. It would require some screening on either side. Many of your councils have already gone this route, where they have screening on the sides and in the front, a bit of a dome, a cone of silence, if you will, I guess, for many. Separation distances would be accommodated with that screening or those plexiglass screens. They would not be permanent in nature. They would be allowed to be moved in and moved out depending on how the pandemic plays itself out over the next several months and possibly years. the same time, the county chambers is getting a little dated, if you will. So we're looking at refreshing some of the laminates, some of the refinishings on the council table, on the horseshoe areas, just to, again, refinish them and bring them up to maybe a little bit more appealing, and fixing some of the damaging aspects of the gouged wood and otherwise. A big part of the redo will be the technical aspects of a camera and microphone setup that would allow a live streaming aspect. The CAO has expressed that he would love to see the live streaming continued, at least in the very short term, medium short term, and then into the long term, that the streaming would continue. We understand there's been microphone issues over the last few years, and we have held off updating until we went through this project, and now would be the time, updating all the cabling and sound system in that building to, again, accommodate live streaming, and a bit of a studio effect that we can almost push play and then run it through to direct to YouTube and have a streaming option. So we are receiving and have been in conversations with the architects, the current contractor, who we have a carry-on contract for other work, is currently pricing and estimating the job based on some preliminary, very preliminary designs of this work. We do not have those estimates this morning. We had hoped to. Some of the refinishing of the delamination of the blue, if you can picture what it used to be, it's been several months since you've been in here. The blue on the desks was damaged, has been damaged over years, and needs to be delaminated and relaminated. So that's causing some longer time to get an estimate on that. That said, in conversation with our designers late last night and this morning, we are, I say, confident, very with trepidation, that the previous budget amount from provision of unallocated funds was $300,000, and we feel that that's still a good budget we can work within for, again, the revisiting of the council chambers, the safety measures we need to take, and the streaming issues that we need to deal with, and the training to go along with that. So again, we're there with those dollar amounts, but we'd like to proceed based on that budget. And that's why the recommendation is, Chair, is that the Development and Property Committee recommend the County Council direct staff to proceed with the design and concept, basically as presented today, for the necessary physical and technical upgrades to the council chambers. So I'll leave it at that, Chair, perhaps for questions, and I can answer that as they come up. Thank you.
Okay, fair enough. Open it up for questions or comments or ideas or thoughts on this. Just to give me an understanding, and I'll use my own council chambers as an example. We have individual councillors' desks that are portable, and when we need to, we sort of push them to the side, and we have an open area, like a small conference room or whatever you want to call it, that we can include upwards of, well, maybe 100 people in there simply by moving the desk. Is the horseshoe a permanent fixture in council chambers? Similarly, where we are, we have cordless microphones that can be moved around all over the place. So it makes it multi-purpose in a sense. Is that part of what we're looking at, or is it, as I indicate, a fixed U as we see it right now? Through
you, Chair, the horseshoe is fixed as you see it right now. Mm-hmm. Removing that and going to a modular solution was proving very expensive. Mm-hmm. So in our investigation, refinishing that, we are estimating to be a much more inexpensive route than replacing all that furniture. I think it was mentioned to me, perhaps even by the warden, that's a grand room. The council chambers is a very special room, and that furniture is special. I mean, it has history to it, going back to the early 90s. I recognize from when council was brought into this building, and it still is very functional, and it still works. It's just, and that building and that room was built for 34 council members at the time. So it's already been shrunken down at 36. I see Mayor TJ. So even 36, I can see I can read lips and signs, so I'm pretty good. So from 36 down to 17. So there is room to accommodate those 17 folks, 16 because the warden's at the front, but 17 people in there, plus the department heads in a social distant manner, along with the plexiglass solution. Sure. Okay, fair enough. Paul.
Thank you, Chair. I would, through you to committee, I would also like to add that in the plans for the new building that we're doing, in portion of the wing where emergency services will be located, we have incorporated a multi-purpose training room as well for those staff. So we have our paramedics that require the continuous learning requirements as per their job. However, that facility, the multi-purpose training room that we are created, will be available to us for other purposes as well. So we're hoping that it can suit training for other staff. It can also work as an emergency operations center as well, should we need to go down that room. So it leaves us with some flexibility with respect to council chambers. I'll leave it at that, Chair. Thank you.
Fair enough. I just exploring the options. That's all. I know when we were putting the OSAM conference together, we were tight in terms. We didn't have any space here at the council environment, so that's why I'm asking to see if we could do it better. But obviously, it's been thought through, and that's fine. That's a question that I wanted answered. Okay, Dan.
Thank you, Chair.
Sheldon.
Thank you, Chair, to Craig. The key word to me was temporary for the plastic shielding and whatnot. In my opinion, the council chambers is somewhat like a regal that you've mentioned before. And if you're going to be putting plastic screening dividers attached to our new desk, I think you'll destroy the regality of it. Or are these going to be on something that's not going to be fixed that'll finally go away when this thing is over? Thank you.
Through you, Chair, to Councillor Lynch. Yes. So what we're looking at is a solution that it slides in on the desk. It basically slides in and it's not taped or two-way taped or anything else that would remove a finishing. It exists and is self-adhered on the corners and whatnot. So the two sides would slide into place. A bit of a gap between that screen that would slide over the desk, and then a front screen would attach between those two screens on either side of you, with a 10 or 12-inch extension beyond your seat. So there's a bit of a buffer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Fair enough. Thank you for that, Sheldon.
Yeah, thank you, Chair, and through to Craig. The thought about the those partitions involving staff directly, like the senior leadership team where they sit, there isn't a lot of room there. Are you able to accommodate, or will they be able to attend virtually, perhaps?
Yeah, absolutely. Through you, Chair, to Councillor Keller. Those seats, so we've often had 3 or 4 at a table, let's say at the back. They would be, we're down to two per table. We may have to relocate the other table that the press is sat in at the back for the time being as another department head area. So at the current time, there are 6 department heads. So 2 per table. We've been accommodated. Paul has mentioned that, I think what department heads, should we come back, that we'd be minimizing staff involvement, let's say. So perhaps the department head that is required to be there would be there, and then the other ones could participate virtually, because this virtual thing is going to continue for a while, and that's why we're live streaming and looking at technical advances. But Paul may want to fill that in. That's kind of his ball. Okay, he's good. All right. I mean, most importantly is to make sure Rose and Paul are there, right? As the CEO and deputy clerk, they're the most important people. So as long as they're taking care of, everybody else is fine.
I noticed you said Rose and then Paul. Interesting, but anyway.
Oh, we know the pecking order in this building, sir.
Gordon, I see you, and then Paul. Gordon, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I'm really pleased with this design. Craig sort of mentioned that I may have had a few comments about the room, and so I have been possibly a thorn in his side, a tad. But again, I really do believe this room it's a seat of our county. It has to have presence to it. When you walk in there, and especially when we get back to allowing members of the public to be in attendance as well. When you walk through that room, it's a message to you. We expect respect. We will give it to you. We get it in return. Decorum, all that sort of thing. And I think it's a wonderful room, and I'm really, really pleased that we're going to be able to continue with it like that. So excellent job, Craig.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
further, Paul, I thought, did I see your hand up? No? Okay,
Chair, no, I'm good, Chair. I was just commenting about, yes, Rose should always come first.
yeah, no, well, we all know that, that's for sure. Where is Rose? There she is. She's sitting quiet in the corner there. Okay, fair enough. Any further questions, comments, or concerns? If you're comfortable with this, you see the recommendation, need a motion, please. Janice, seconded by Peter. No further discussion. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Opposed, if any, it's carried. Thank you. Under bylaws, Paul, and not Paul, Craig, pardon me.
Yeah, I think if I'll ask Alistair to address this. Alistair's been key behind this great announcement. I'll let him take the lead on this, if you don't mind, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Alistair, good morning.
Thanks, Chair. Good morning, committee. Item 3 on bylaws, it's regarding Enterprise Renfrew County. So it's regarding a funding agreement to support Enterprise Renfrew County and our county small businesses and entrepreneurs. There's a recommendation and some background, and I can read the recommendation, Chair, and then summarize that background if you'd like.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Recommendation that the Development Property Committee recommend that County Council adopt a bylaw to enter into a conditional flow-through grant agreement for small business enterprise centers, that's SBEC, the acronym, between the County of Renfrew, Enterprise Renfrew County, and this is the a little bit different one, the Business Advisory Center Durham, Inc. in Whitby, Ontario, to secure $32,000 of special funding being provided to small business enterprise centers by the province of Ontario and available to Enterprise Renfrew County. So instead of directly from the province, this funding will flow through one of the SBECs who's really leading the network and agreed to manage this special funding. And the background really is Enterprise Renfrew County is one of 47 SBECs across the province. COVID-19, and I will say also just advances in technology and helping our businesses have led us really to be doing more online delivery of services. And we're busy with our normal client flow, but with COVID, we've had an uptick also in inquiries and requests for assistance and guidance because of COVID and how to manage the situation, the conditions and precautions. So we do have a need for increased specialized service to our clients of all ages, right from our summer company teenage clients, young people, all the way through to all our entrepreneurs. The SBEC network coordinated a pitch to the province of Ontario for special one-time funding to be able to invest and adjust to these new demands on our services. And it'll help us to expand our services across County of Renfrew and all of Ontario. And it's through COVID, through the recovery phase, and of course, ongoing into the future. With the $32,000, which must be expended by September 30 of 2021, and it is special funding, we expect to get our usual funding from the province of Ontario for our core activities, for our Starter Company Plus program, a special amount, and for Summer Company, our Student Entrepreneur Program, a special amount. We'll be contracting additional service providers, consultants, subject matter experts. We'll be videotaping them and retaining that instruction, if you will, or those guidance programs for some future use. We'll also be doing more one-on-one consultations where we'll be finding expert individuals, companies, or organizations to one-on-one counsel directly some of our entrepreneurs in some specialized areas like food, production, packaging, some of the advanced technologies, textiles. You know, we've run into a few textile product developers that would need to have some special coaching there that is beyond very technical, if you will, and market oriented and production oriented. So Chair, that's a summary of what this funding would be utilized for. Thanks.
Good, thank you, Alistair. That's great news. I'll open up for comments or questions with regards to this bylaw. No, well, that's good news. Peter, go ahead.
Thank you. Through Chair, through you to Alistair. Alistair, are they the same people we partnered with the mini Dragon's Den idea, the RC100?
That we modeled that, sorry, through back to Councilor Emo, through Chair, through, yes, through our, we really modeled the program after them.
Thank you.
Fair enough. Further? If you're comfortable with this, I need a motion, please. Janice and Dan, any discussion further? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Opposed of any, it's carried. Good job, guys. With that, back to the agenda. Any new business? Seeing none, nothing for closed?
Need a
No?
motion for the report as a whole, Chair?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. So is this coming through as an addendum to the report?
That is correct, sir.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I need a motion then to accept this. Sheldon and Peter, all in favor? It's carried. Nothing for new business, nothing for closed. Need a motion to adjourn. Janice and seconded by, we don't want to leave, okay? And Peter, all in favor? It's carried. Thank you so much for meeting today. That's great. See you all tomorrow.